Trae Young is worthless. And thankfully, everyone agrees with me. From the Wizards organization to Trae Young himself to the Atlanta Hawks organization. And I'm just so happy that we live in a time frame where we can just be honest, we can be open with each other, and we can acknowledge that Trae Young actively sabotages his own value, partially because he knew he was worthless. And I can stop hearing it from like the little soy boys that are be like, "Oh, well, Trae Young averages over 20 points and 11 assists. Angelo, would you want that on your team? Angelo, would you want 20 points and 10 assists on your team?" Apparently, Trae Young doesn't want 20 points and 10 assists on their team. Apparently, the Atlanta Hawks don't. Apparently, the Washington Wizards don't think 20 points and 10 assists is worth even sending any kind of draft compensation. So I'm just curious on how Ren is gonna spin this because he is the spin master. I know he's gonna be like, and it's probably gonna be a point in here where he's gonna be like, "Would you want 20 points and 10 assists?" Well, but like, why? Why is that even a point when Trae Young himself, through his own actions, has acknowledged that like he is worthless, he isn't worth value. That's why he did the things that he did. And if I was the Washington Wizards, quite honestly, like, why would I offer him proper compensation? Like, really? You pulled this shit and you expect to be paid like a max star? How about you conduct yourself like a max star? How about you act like you're worth the monetary value that you say you are? And it comes down to a pride thing for me. And this is why like stuff like this angers me so much is because if you are a professional athlete and if you are doing this at the highest level, you equate your compensation to how good you are viewed in the league. That's why there is always a reach to the top to be the highest paid and always setting the mark because you feel like you're the best at your particular position. Trae Young, by doing this, actively said the opposite. He actively said, "Hey, I'm not worth anything. I'm worth trash. I'm worth scraps. I'm worth like the piece of gum on your shoe." And I hope we can at least get to an honest point and we can have an honest conversation and say, yes, that is what happened. Instead of trying to dodge, instead of trying to obfuscate, instead of trying to be like, well, if you look at Trae Young's performance, he's actually worth this. Like, it doesn't matter what his performance dictates. Trae Young himself says he's worthless. So, Ren, I'm curious. How are you going to justify this? Do you agree? Can we have an honest conversation here? And can we agree with the point that Trae Young is worthless?
Oh, are you done?
I'm done.
Oh, sorry. I was setting my draft order for fantasy baseball.
This guy.
So I did zone in a couple times during that. So let's where to start? Let's start with the you started to make a point, and I don't know if you had a moment of clarity to finally realize, reason and logic. Because you said at one point, and correct me if I'm wrong, because again I was not here during that. You said
Because
at
you
one
don't want to
point that
accept facts. It's okay.
if you're a professional athlete, blah blah blah, standards, whatever, right?
Sure.
So how do you feel about load management?
How do I feel about what does load management have to do with compensation?
You're being paid to play games. Why are you not playing games when you're healthy?
Right, but you're being paid to play games
Right.
based on the performance that you put on the field. You're
Yeah.
being paid based
So,
on things like your skill, your
so,
talent. Load
so it's
managing isn't saying, "Hey, I want you to send me off to Nova Scotia for two paper clips and a pen." Like cool flex, bro. Like what are you trying to get here? Are you trying to saying that like
I,
playing 5 less minutes a game actively? Like no. Like if you load manage, that doesn't mean you feel like you should be paid less. But actively going to another organization for far less and tanking your value for far less than you should be worth. Yes, that is you saying you are worthless. Load management is not saying you're worthless. Load management is saying, "Hey, I can't do this at a good enough level when you need me, which will be the playoffs. So I need extra time during the regular season. so that I can actually be who I am during the playoffs. Like, I don't get how you're equating these. I don't understand how, like, Trae Young basically tanking his trade stock, and hopefully, if the Wizards have any kind of clarity, his financial compensation stock, how load management equates to you tanking your financial compensation or your trade value. I'm curious how you get
So,
those two together.
so now, just to clarify, you're now opposed to players making decisions for what organizations they go to. I'm just, you're all about player agency and the players making the decisions, whether that's load management or the fact that no player should stay on the same team and blah, 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 whatever. But then when a player does it, and now it's a problem. But I'm going to ask you a question because you did go on a short diatribe there. I don't remember what the whole thing was, but you were talking about basically the Hawks sucking, right? Do you know when the Atlanta Hawks became the Atlanta Hawks?
1871. What year?
1968. Prior to that, they were in St. Louis. Since
Mm-hmm.
the move to Atlanta, do you know how many times the Atlanta Hawks have been to the NBA Finals? Keeping in mind that they had Clyde Drexler. No, they didn't have Clyde
Uh,
Drexler. Did they have Clyde?
One time, if I'm not
Um,
mistaken.
yeah. When was that?
I believe it was in the 70s.
No, no. It was 2021. The team led by Trae Young. It wasn't Hakeem
No,
Olajuwon. Go ahead and
they
Google
didn't
it.
go into the finals. They
It's
lost
the
to
closest they've
LeBron.
ever gotten. It's the closest they've ever gotten.
Oh, okay, fair, fair,
Um,
fair. All right.
like this is that's including the Hakeem seasons. Like Trae Young, for all intents and purposes, with the exception of Bob Pettit, is the
Or Giannis. They lost to Giannis, not
closest.
LeBron. Same person.
What?
Anyway, sorry. I'm
Oh, they lost
equating
to Giannis.
years. I'm equating the 2016 Hawks to the 2021 Hawks. And anyway, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, the Jeff T. Cox.
Yeah.
So you can argue all you want about the rest of the shit you said, but
Rest of the
Trae Young has been arguably the most successful star player for the Hawks in terms of
cool. He doesn't
being
conduct
the closest.
himself like he does.
So
What?
again,
What? He
again,
doesn't.
again, if I if we go listen back on the episodes of this channel, and I might do it just for the sake of making sound bites where you would have talked about that it's not on the players, it's on the organizations, and it just there's double standards when it comes to the players you don't like.
Is there? Who? When did LeBron request a trade and get pennies on the dollar?
Right, but why did LeBron leave Cleveland?
Because they didn't facilitate a good enough team around him. But he left in free agency. He left. He left.
What? Okay, so what's the difference between requesting a trade, which you also don't have a problem with, and leaving in free agency? Why do you suddenly have a problem with requesting a trade?
Because of the value, Ren.
Okay, right, right. So, um, I want everyone to remember this moment for when this happens in the future with a different player and he sings a different tune. Um,
Not
because
gonna
like
happen,
here's the
but
thing.
okay.
Here's the thing. We're going to talk about a lot of different trade rumors with other players. Like this is not just going to be a Trae Young episode. That would be boring, honestly, for
Did
us
KD
and you.
request a trade to the Warriors and then get pennies in return from the Thunder?
No, but it's different circumstances and also different tiers of players. You're talking about Kevin Durant, who is in that conversation, and Trae Young, who's in a conversation, but it's not that conversation.
Cool. Did the Cavs give up like a bench player for Donovan Mitchell?
Did Donovan Mitchell specifically request only to go to the Cavaliers?
Probably
And
not.
also, were the Utah Jazz trying to recomp value or were they trying to create cap space? Because, like, John Morant is very obviously on the way out from the
Yes.
Memphis Grizzlies.
You want to
The-
place a wager that Ja Morant, if he's moved, gets more than Trae Young
right,
as far as
right.
like,
I'm
okay.
making a point.
Oh, okay.
The Memphis Grizzlies and the Atlanta Hawks
That was a
would
no
have
directly.
traded point guards. Like that would have happened if the Atlanta Hawks called the Memphis Grizzlies and said, "We'll give you Trae Young, you give us Ja." The Memphis Grizzlies would have said yes in an instant. Okay? The Atlanta Hawks traded for expiring contracts, bolstering a youth movement. Yes, you can argue they should have got picks, but when a player requests a trade, it kind of tanks their value, and you're basically cutting your losses. Because Jalen Johnson has emerged as one of the better young players in the NBA.
More valuable than Trae, apparently.
He right now, yes, he absolutely is. I won't argue that. But he also has that same. I don't know how many like Hawks games you've followed, but Jalen Johnson is basically just a taller Trae Young. But the height matters. Like height is important in basketball. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. Um, but the reason the Hawks made the trade they did, or the value they got back, because it's not just face value, it's clearing cap space for the future. Because think about like it's not
I'm hearing a lot of bad points, Ryan.
no it's not like it's what's it it's not Milwaukee, okay? It's Atlanta. It's a place people do want to generally be, especially people around the culture of basketball when you think about like the hip hop community in Atlanta.
Except Trae Young. To Trae Young, it might as well be Siberia.
I wouldn't say that. I would say that they outgrew each other. It wasn't a fit anymore because you had Jalen Johnson, who you're betting the future on, and you had Trae Young. They're the same player. One is just taller and younger. So which player are you going to build around? Because you can't have both of them. It's like when we were talking about it, or not, as we briefly talked about it, but there were rumors, Anthony Davis for Trae Young, right? It didn't make sense because you cannot play Trae Young and Kyrie together. You couldn't really play Jalen Johnson and Trae Young together. It's a business decision. It makes sense. Like I know you don't want to see it as making sense, but it makes sense. Could they have got more? Yes, probably. Again, they probably could have got Ja Morant straight up. They didn't. They valued cap space more. In a world of financial limitations in sports, cap space matters. From the Wizards' point of view, because when we talked about one-on-one, not here, obviously, because we haven't recorded in weeks. When we were talking about potential Trae Young landing destinations, we did talk about Washington, and one of the things I said was, they have a great young core, but what do you give up for Trae Young? Because ideally, what you do is you have Trae come
Really
in,
nothing.
and but what we were talking about from the Wizards' point of view, they made out like bandits, did they not?
I mean,
Uh, uh,
sure.
so, so are the Wizards better today than they were however many days ago that trade happened?
It depends on the context you're talking about. Do you mean are they better now or are they better in the future?
Are they better right now?
Yes.
But why? Trae Young isn't worth anything.
Yeah, he isn't. He said he isn't.
But
Why don't you listen to him, Ron? Why
when
don't you
did he
listen
say
to
that?
him when he says he's worthless? Why don't you listen to
What?
him when go ahead.
When did he say that?
When he tanked his value.
So like,
What? Checkmate?
No,
What?
no,
Like,
no.
what do you want?
No,
Like,
no. I want you to imagine you are a professional athlete.
It's gonna be Trae Young.
And shut up. So you are a professional athlete, okay?
Yep.
You are wanting to leave the team you're on because player
Sure.
agency, remember, you're all about player agency.
Sure.
And you want to go to a new team.
Sure.
Does tanking your value make the team you're going to better or worse?
going to better.
All right. Do you get it yet? Like, the Washington Wizards are better today than they were prior to the trade.
Great. And
That
if I
is
was
a
the
fact.
Washington Wizards, I would be offering Trae Young close to a min contract. You're not saying you're worth any more than that. Like
That's not how
10
that
million a
works,
year?
though.
I'll give you 10 million a year. Sure.
Okay, so let's back up. Okay,
What?
Angela,
What?
no. We're gonna go on what you call a side quest.
Oh, okay.
How much should a high A player be paid?
A high A player, somewhere in
Yeah,
the range of, you mean like top of the top?
I'm sure.
40, 50 million.
What?
What?
I'm talking baseball.
Oh, a
High
year?
single A. High single A. How
Oh,
many?
high
How?
single A.
Yeah.
What they actually get paid or what I think they should get paid?
What do they actually get paid?
50K.
What should they actually be paid?
Probably closer to 100K to, I'd argue, as high as 1 million a year.
Why they're not good?
You're right. They're not
So
good now.
what?
Like,
So
what is this?
let
The
okay.
flex? The flex you're saying is? Are you saying that Trae Young has this mythical potential that he hasn't already reached? Like, what's the argument
No,
here?
I'm trying to make a point. Okay.
So you want to
So like
compare Trae Young to minor leaguers who are just getting their first experience of the majors,
no,
and we're not sure
no,
if they're good or not.
no,
Interesting
no,
decision.
Angelo, you're missing the point. I'm not talking about Trae Young. I'm talking about you and your double standards.
What double standard?
Because Trae Young today is averaging 20 points in the NBA.
Cool.
How many people are paid a minimum that are averaging 20 points in the NBA today?
I'd argue Trae Young
But
should be.
but you want to be paying people that haven't even had a cup of coffee in the big leagues $1 million.
Yes. So have all the minor leaguers tanked their value purposely? Have all the minor leaguers
Doesn't
come
matter.
out and basically
Doesn't
said that
matter.
they're worthless? I'm just curious
Doesn't
about
matter.
this. Since
It
why doesn't it matter?
Because like if you have a minor league pitcher who has never played in like if a starting pitcher in the MLB is like 6-3, is that pretty good?
Sure.
But what if he tanked his value and demanded a trade and he got traded for less? Is he suddenly worth less even though he's 6-3?
I'd hardball him. Absolutely.
That's ridiculous. You pay because
What?
that's how you lose them because someone is going to say, "You're 6-3. You're good. I'm going to pay you." How many players making a minor league contract or Jesus Christ, I'm confusing sports. A minimum contract are averaging 20 and 9, which is what Trae Young is averaging. Again,
Great. How many of
ignore
them
your
said
bias.
that they are worth shit? Just curious.
He did not say that. He
You might as
requested
well
a
have. You
trade.
might as well have gotten into a megaphone and said it.
Oh my God. We're again, we're gonna soundbite this for when like I don't know, Shea demands a trade or something, and suddenly it's the greatest thing ever. And
If Shea demands a trade and they give like a pen and a paperclip for him, I will gladly lambast Shea. Like,
but it doesn't change the fact that it is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. That's the
sure,
point
does
you're
it
not
change like the fancy
the
numbers, like
value.
like that little nerd boys like you like to spew out? No, it doesn't change the fact that Trae Young is averaging 20 and 10. But what it does change is how you perceive yourself and how you should be perceived as
Right,
wanting money on the
right,
market.
right.
Is it
Angelo,
not?
Angelo,
Is that not the goal of
Angelo,
of sports? Is that
An-
not the ego of sports athletes? Is
Angelo.
I think I'm one of the best in my position. I think I should be paid like this. So how then
Hmm.
can you say I think I'm one of the best players at my position?
Hmm.
By the way, you should trade me for 2 paper clips
Absolutely.
and a pen.
Yep. Hmm.
So
Okay. So,
I need you to fit that circle in that square
so we're gonna play a game. Okay. How do you win hockey?
by scoring more goals than the other team.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Absolutely. How do you win baseball?
By scoring more runs than the other team.
Right. Right. How do you win football?
By scoring more points than the other team.
How do you win soccer?
By scoring more goals than the other team.
Yep. 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 How do you win basketball?
By not acquiring Trae Young, apparently.
Okay. Uh, so you can see he dodged it, but the answer is
By
you
by
score
scoring
more
more
points.
points than
Right. How many points per what is the current I'm googling this myself because I don't know. What is the current average of points scored in an NBA game?
it's probably around 112, if I had to guess. do do do.
Average is 117. That seems ridiculously high.
Yeah.
So Trae Young
One
is averaging 20.
of
Okay.
those 117. Yep.
Right. So now let's do the individual. NBA scoring average. Not what I wanted. Google's not working
What
today.
average it per player? It's probably 10.5 or something like that.
Per player of points per game. NBA.
Probably
The
10.5.
average 9.7. Okay. So
Pretty
Trae
close.
Young is averaging double the average.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not including his assists, which at minimum, quick math,
2 plus 10
16.
is 20.
So it's 16 minimum. So
If he's
20.
averaging 10, whatever.
And he's averaging, I think, 8.5 assists. I rounded
Okay.
down for your benefit.
That's fine.
So
That's fine.
16 points minimum. That's assuming no 3-pointers. So 16 points minimum. Plus his 20. That's contributing to winning. And that's what you're paid for. You're paid to win games. Now, an argument can be made that Trae Young is probably among the worst defenders in the NBA. He's incredibly small, and he also just doesn't really try on defense, and it's kind of embarrassing.
Hmm.
But in
Much like
terms
his
of
trade value.
in terms of football, again, the Memphis Grizzlies would have traded 1-for-1 Trae Young for Ja Morant.
Cool. They didn't.
What the Hawks wanted to do was shed salary.
Here we go. There it is. There's the gaslighting. There's the I'm gonna call it goalpost moving. There's the well, they would have given more for Trae Young, but they didn't because the the Atlanta Hawks wanted to accomplish something. So get the fuck out of here with that. Stop this.
I'm not saying that.
Stop this. Stop this. You're
No,
not going to gaslight me into believing that this was not a Trae Young doing, and the reason that they got such a pitiful return is because Trae Young requested specifically where he wanted to go, and then it handicapped the Atlanta Hawks organization from getting the compensation they wanted to get for Trae Young.
I think the Hawks could have got more from the Wizards. I'm not saying the Wizards cut salary. I'm saying the Hawks cut salary because
Yes, I know
CJ
what you're saying.
McCollum's expiring. Yeah, so again, in pro sports, salary shedding is a thing. Should they have gotten more? Yeah, probably. Did they? No. But it is what it is. I still think at the end of the day, the Washington Wizards are better today than they were before the trade. I think the Atlanta Hawks are worse today than they were before the trade. And I think to win in basketball, you have to put the ball in the net more than the other team. And Trae Young is good at that. and he's good at elevating his teammates to do that. You can make an argument for his defense. I'm not going to go through and look at the math of like what his point differential is on off and all that shit because I don't have time for that and I didn't think to do it before the episode. To compare like how much his defense actually is detrimental to his scoring, but he is really good at creating offense when he's on the floor, whether that's himself or his teammates. That is not arguable. You cannot, in good faith, argue that. Right? Because I know you went on your little diatribe where you mocked it, but he's averaging 20 points this year and he's averaging 8.5 assists. Is that or is that not a good number offensively?
And here we are, back to where I always knew we were going to go.
So I want to point out that he does not answer these questions because he knows the answer. And if he answers it honestly, it goes against everything he just said. But if he lies about it,
Trae Young question. Sure,
if he
20 and
lies
10 is
about
good, but that doesn't have anything to do. That is not pertinent to my point. So I'm curious to know why you think like are you just for bad things and against good things? Like what do we what's your point? Why is Trae Young averaging 20 and 10 relevant and why is it good for the Atlanta Hawks now that he's gone?
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna role play, okay? So you are a general manager and I am a general manager. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Hey Angelo, I'm gonna trade you this player. He's averaging 20 and 10. Are you saying no?
Is his name Trae Young?
That's irrelevant. I'm asking you the 20 and 10 player. Are you saying no?
For now, no. For now, I'm saying yes. I will have him.
Yeah, right. Because you have a preconceived bias that because it has the Trae Young name attached to it, you're gonna say no. Let me. Ten rebounds, you stupid fucking AI.
There's your first mistake using AI.
So, well, it's Google.
AI probably
Everything
gave Trae Young his value.
So, hold on. I'm scrolling through players that are averaging or have averaged 20 and 10 just to. I'm trying to find someone that's bad on this list, but there's Oscar Robertson, Magic, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic. I just, the list of players that average 20 and 10 is pretty bad, honestly. Do you get it yet? I'm still scrolling. Do you get it yet?
Do you get that Trae Young tanked his value?
That's irrelevant to the question.
Oh, now it's irrelevant. Okay. Now it's not relevant. Now everything's all fine. Trae's still worth everything that he was worth before all this happened. Don't trust your eyes. Don't look at the man behind the curtain. Everything's great. Everything's fine. Everything as it was before yesterday. Oh, fuck yourself.
Nate Archibald? Nate Archibald. Finally one that maybe. I mean, it's still Nate Archibald, isn't he? He's a Hall of Famer.
I'd probably value him more than Trae Young.
Oh, God, I got to the end of the list and it says why it's rare. Oh, there's Trae Young, by the way. This stat line demands exceptional individual scoring talent combined with elite court vision and passing, making it a hallmark of superstar guards.
Apparently not for trade value, though.
Again, you dingus. If a player requests a trade to one location, it tanks their value. That does not mean that the team cannot get fair value. It's about what the team prioritizes. The Atlanta Hawks went into trade negotiations saying, we want to shed salary. I want you to go look up who their owner is and figure out why that is. It has nothing to do.
Why don't you tell everyone, right?
Because we're not getting political on here because that's a bad idea.
Okay. this guy.
So
I did pitch that. Ren won't allow it. Ren's not cool.
yeah, no, you can
Ren's
Google
not
it
fun.
yourself. It's we're not. No. We're not doing that on here.
We're not fun here. It's okay.
So yes, the Hawks could have got more. They should have got more. They chose not to get more. That's the long and short of it. You can deny it all you want, but when a player requests a trade to one specific location, yes, their value is lower. It's not lower because of talent. It's lower because they have told the opponent, I'm only going there. You're not in a bidding war. That's just how that works. I know you're new to sports, but that's pretty normal. Are you done with Ja? Or not Ja, Trae?
Yeah, we can move on to Ja, the better point guard.
I mean, God, could an argument be made? Better in different ways, sure. They're both pretty bad defensively. Trae is a significantly better shooter. Ja's a better finisher. Trae's a better passer. Ja is bigger. I really think they're about even. The only reason I give the edge to Trae is because he's a better shooter and the three-pointer is way more important than having a nice layup package. So Ja got suspended. I want to. Was it a month ago? He had a 1-game suspension because he basically was a diva. So Grizzlies were shooting themselves out of the game. Specifically, Ja was shooting them out of the game. Halftime adjustment, coach basically called him out for the entire second half. And if you've never seen the game, go watch it. I will try to find it while I'm talking. Ja sold. Like, basically, like, if you've ever played 2K with, like, one of those guards that goes, like, 2 for 40 and keeps shooting, and then is, like, dancing on the half-court spot, and then calling all the timeouts, and, like, not playing at all, that was basically Ja in that game. So he got a suspension from the team for 1 game, and he blasted it all on social media that it was the last game he was playing in Memphis and blah, 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 whatever. So now Ja is the most likely player to be, second most likely player to be moved. I would say Michael Porter Jr. is probably more likely to be moved just because I don't know who's trading for Ja, because he's kind of a toxic personality to have in your locker room, and he's also got a decent sized contract. So, like,
Interesting.
I'm not sure where he could go. Because Ben McMahon on Monday's Hoop Collective podcast said the feedback we got on Ja wasn't any more favorable than the feedback we got on Trae. So basically, Ja Morant's value is the same as Trae Young's value. Again, this is why I was saying, like, they could have made a 1-for-1 swap. So 1, do you think Ja will be traded? 2, where do you think he will be traded? And 3, where do you think he should be traded?
If they're getting Trae Young value, probably not.
Probably not to which one, because there were 3 questions.
If will he be traded? If they're gonna get Trae Young trade value, then probably not. No. Should he be traded? That's a more interesting question. I would argue yes. I think at this point there's a toxic relationship between him and the Grizzlies. But who is a good question? Because it would have to be an organization that doesn't care about optics, that is okay with a diva. Honestly, if LaMelo Ball wasn't there, the Hornets would be a perfect organization.
You know who came to mind as you were saying all of that?
Go on. I'm listening. Sacramento Kings.
Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee.
I'm not wrong.
This guy.
I'm not. It makes sense from a few standpoints. They need a point guard desperately. The only problem is Ja can't shoot the ball. I think Trae Young was perfect for the Bucks, but a Ja Giannis pick and roll is kind of scary because your drop coverage has to make a decision, and either decision is gonna suck. Bobby Portis and Kyle Kuzma probably gets it done if you're doing like an even, like if you're saying the value of Trae Young is the same as Ja, that's fair. I think the problem is the Grizzlies are committed to getting a first round pick back, and I don't know if you have a player that toxic if you're trading more than that. But in terms of contracts, I think off the top of my head, Kyle Kuzma, Bobby Portis gets it done. Outside of that, I don't know where he would go. Atlanta would have been perfect for Ja, given his personality. Maybe the Miami Heat. Maybe a Tyler Hero for Ja trade. I don't know if I like that fit that much. That's about it. Thoughts on any of that?
I think the Grizzlies might have to do what the Hawks should have done with Trae, and that's send a message and bench him and let him go. Let him walk. Like
So
that's
pay
that's
pay
right.
pay pay someone tens of millions of dollars to not play rather than recomping value.
If it's Trae Young value, is it really value? What? You can scoff at it, but I mean, sometimes sending a message is the more important thing, is the more worthwhile endeavor.
Yeah, what a great message to free agents. If we start to dislike you, you're not going to play.
Dislike you.
I really, really, really hope like 2K or NHL or MLB, one of those games has an online franchise mode soon because Madden sucks. But I want to see how Angelo runs a team into the ground because I want him to run it like it's real life and like randomly decide he doesn't like a player for no reason, no matter what they're doing on the
This
field,
guy.
court, whatever.
Randomly for no reason. This guy.
20 and 10. Your player's averaging 20 and 10, but you don't like his haircut. So fuck him. He's sitting on the
Oh
bench.
my god. Ren, that's not even close to the same thing, and you know
That
it.
is
Like
exactly what you're
this
doing.
is such a bad faith argument.
It would be one thing if it was a player averaging 12 points and acting like they're a superstar. But like if you are the Atlanta Hawks, an argument can be made. I'm not saying it's a right argument or a wrong argument. An argument could be made that when Trae Young retires, his jersey will hang from the rafters.
Who?
And I'm saying that because, one, the people that have had their jerseys retired have played either the exact same amount of seasons as him or slightly more. Bob Pettit, I don't really count because he was in St. Louis. It's not Atlanta yet.
I would be so disgusted if they actually flew his jersey. That
But
would,
if you're flying the jersey of someone that played, how many seasons did Maravich play there?
good question. I actually don't know that off the top of my head. Let's see. Pete Maravich.
So 4 seasons. So Maravich's jersey's retired. He played 4 seasons. Mutombo's jersey's retired. He played for 5 seasons. Dominique Wilkins. I don't know why I said Clyde Drexler earlier. Similar players, but he played 12 seasons. So Trae Young played 8 seasons for the Hawks and got them the closest to an NBA championship that any player on this list has gotten them, besides Bob Pettit. Again, only championship in franchise history was when they were in St. Louis. It was Bob Pettit. Out of all those players, Trae Young, I think, averages more points per game. He averages more assists per game. Again, he contributed to winning more than everyone there except for Bob Pettit. I'm not saying it makes sense, or I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying that it wouldn't shock me if they retired Trae Young just based on who they've retired. I also was saying Hakeem Olajuwon. Jesus Christ. I'm almost as casual as Angelo today.
You've always been more, and you know it.
Other names, Domantas Sabonis is on the trade rumor list, which kind of makes sense. Kings kind of suck now. And where would a Domantas Sabonis fit in Indiana?
Sabonis?
Yeah.
He was already in Well, honestly,
I
now that
know.
you guys are without a Miles Turner,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I was gonna say no. You guys wait. No more Miles
Yeah,
Turner.
we have Jay Huff as a center,
Yeah. No.
or some dude named Potter that is ass. Outside of that, Lakers, but Sacramento will not trade within their division. Bulls, Sabonis in a Bulls jersey kind of fits.
Gross. The Bulls don't have nice things. Get out of here.
I mean, objectively, you're not wrong. Besides the Bulls are still riding the high of Michael Jordan, and they've never done anything besides that era. And it wasn't because the Bulls are good. It's because Michael Jeffrey Jordan is the greatest player of all time, arguably debatable, whatever. I don't care.
I know you don't care, Ren. I know you don't care.
But like, they're not like the Bulls are not like in that same conversation as like Los Angeles or Boston, but they think they are.
Yeah. Which is weird. I mean, they are in the conversation on the fact that Michael Jordan won so often for them. They have
but it wasn't the Chicago Bulls. It was Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
But to be fair, like an argument could be made if Derrick Rose didn't, blow out his knees in a useless game. Fuck Tom Thibodeau. That Bulls team
still have the same. They still have the same amount of championships.
I don't know.
I do. They unfortunately would have to run into one LeBron James every season until 2020.
Homie, that
Go. Yeah.
I don't know. That 2012. That 2012 Derrick Rose was
Still lost to LeBron.
He did. He was also 20 years old. I don't know. I legitimately think that we could be talking about LeBron taking his talents to She-Town. Ring chasing. The only reason I don't think he would ever go to Chicago is because then it would be like obnoxious that he was chasing LeBron or chasing Jordan. But no, I do legitimately think that the NBA would have been a lot more interesting during those early 2010s if Tom Thibodeau was not the coach of the Chicago Bulls in 2012. That's actually true for a lot of like things. Like I think John Wall, if he didn't go to Washington, would have been a lot better.
Yeah, probably Washington around that area was the time where everything goes to die. In the sense, they
Yeah.
still are. Let's hope they are. Still are. You know. And then I can never.
Well,
And then I can get away with never talking about Trae Young ever again.
oh no,
That'd be
we'll
so
still talk
nice.
about Trae Young.
That'd
When
be
is his?
so nice.
Do we know
It
when
would
he's
be more
finally
on
gonna?
a what if. Like what if Trae Young never got sent to the Wizards and he was allowed to live a full fruitful career and like he wasn't sad all the time. That would be nice.
Well, Trey, when will his debut be? Oh, they're delaying it till next season. Potentially. Because they want to maintain their first round pick.
Oh,
Actually, that makes
would you want 20 and 10 on your team, Ren? Would 20 and 10 is valuable. But 20 and 10 is so valuable they decide they can bench it for the whole season.
so for those wondering that aren't trying to argue in bad faith, he has a knee injury and they're playing it safe. It's it's not that deep. He's making it bigger than it
20
is.
and 10.
Again, if this was Kawhi Leonard taking the season off, he would be defending it to his dying breath. This is what I deal with on a daily basis. Like you all get to experience this for an hour and a half every once in a while. I have to listen to this all day, every fucking day. This is my life.
You're happy with it every single day, Ren.
Because again, you all know, like everyone that's listening to this that has listened to previous episodes knows that if this was Kawhi Leonard and we were saying he's going to miss the rest of the season for a potential knee injury, there wouldn't be laughing until your mic cut out. It would be completely acceptable, right? Because you remember I've talked about the fact that players choosing to miss games that fans have paid for no reason was wrong.
Do you lambast Trey for this then?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit because the reason is, granted, if
We
a
don't know.
doctor, if a doctor is saying you have an injury and you need to stay off it, because like,
But then at
hindsight's
that point,
20.
why doesn't he have surgery?
If it's a strain, I mean, what do you have
For the whole
surgery
year?
for?
For the rest of the year?
We
That's
don't
kind of
know.
what I'm saying.
They're,
You're right,
they're
we don't
saying
know.
they're taking their time with it. That's all they've said. It's
Oh, I
just
thought you said they're benching him for the rest of the year.
no. So what it says is no official date is set, but expected to be slow or potentially delayed until next season. That's the
Gotcha.
report.
See, I thought it was confirmed next.
No,
Okay,
no, no, no,
okay,
no,
okay.
no. Now,
Okay,
now the
okay.
part before that, where it says the Wizards are expected to be cautious with his return to preserve their 2026 first round pick. That's
There's
where
your
it's bullshit to
criticism.
me. That's
Okay.
bullshit to me because again,
Because you're a
if
Pacers fan and you
it,
wanna have that higher pick.
oh
Anyway,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I want the Wizards to win more games. But
Yeah.
if I am paying to go to an NBA game, I want to see the NBA players on that team play in their game. So to me, that's bullshit. And I will stand on that. I will not switch it around. I will not try to say that I'm fine with this because of who it is, which is what you're doing in the
Oh my!
reverse. Because again,
What you're
if
doing
if
in reverse, this guy.
if I say,
Not a genuine bone in your body, is there?
so how do you feel about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander sitting out for fourth quarters?
Terrible.
Oh, you feel terrible about that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Um, Kawhi is going to load manage next week. How do you feel about that?
Let him load manage.
Yourself.
What do you fuck myself? Like, so here's the thing. How old is Kawhi? First off,
We've been doing this for 3 years, and you still don't know how to say Kawhi.
How old is he?
I don't fucking know. Kawhi
guessing
is
33,
34. 34.
Okay.
He'll be 35
How
next
how
season.
many knee injuries has he had?
Real or imagined?
Oh my god! And see, and this is the thing. That's the difference, Ren.
Real
Like,
or imagined?
like if Kawhi is saying he's doing
Real.
this to be
Okay.
100% in the playoffs, 100%.
Huh.
Now, if it's a
Uh-huh.
situation where like the Thunder are winning these games so like ridiculously by so much that they're just sure whatever. But like if he's actively like just being like, no, I don't want to play the fourth quarter.
Okay. Do you know what it's called when a doctor who has dedicated their life to the study of the human body and medicine is telling you you're fine and you're saying, no, you person that is an expert in this field is wrong and my uncle is correct? Do you know what that's called? It's called a hypochondriac. It should be shamed. Not shamed. Shamed. No, we're going shamed. Fuck it. Shame the hypochondriacs.
Shame. Okay.
So,
All right.
I'm going to Google it. A person who is unusually or excessively anxious about their health. Again, when the doctor's telling you you're fine, Kawhi, you're fine. I don't care what Uncle Dennis says. Uncle Dennis is Uncle Dennis. It's not Dr. Uncle Dennis. It's just Uncle Dennis. So yes, I don't give a fuck about his imagined knee problems. Because as a fan, I am tuning in to watch the sport. It would be like if you tune in to a baseball game and they picked a random person out of the crowd to be the starting pitcher because Evaldi said, I don't feel like pitching tonight. You're tuning in to watch the team play. You, as a player, are the product being sold. If you don't want that, that's fine. You don't have to be. But you're being
You
paid.
don't have to make sure that you're valued properly in trades.
And that is not your responsibility, actually. That is 100% not your responsibility. That is entirely on the front offices. There's jobs.
Buddy.
Your job as a player is to provide entertainment. Your job as a front office is to provide value to your players. I know that's confusing because like you're a LeBron stan where LeBron just is the front office. But in the real world of the rest of sports, that's not how that works. But again, you're fine with Uncle Dennis telling Kawhi he's gonna sit. But when I said that the Wizards are potentially gonna rest Trae Young because of a knee issue, you're saying, well, why doesn't he just have surgery?
The
And
rest
you're
of the
laughing.
season. I thought you said for the rest of the season, for the record.
That's a potential. That is a potential thing. I mean, we don't like objectively, we're not that far from the end of the season, right? Like, how many games have been played? Good Lord, I can't type today.
A lot.
So roughly 40 games. We're halfway through the season. So like if you're going to miss half a season, you're going to miss half a season. That's not like it's not like it's November and we're saying he's going to miss the entire season. It's half the season. And it's a knee injury, like it's basketball. Like you play on a sore half muscle and suddenly you tore your Achilles and you're going to miss a year and a half. It happens. You do that in the NBA finals. You do that in the playoffs. You don't do that in the regular season when your team isn't in the playoff race. You protect your health for next season, you run it back. That is acceptable. My team is winning and I'm going to sit this game because my uncle told me to. Not acceptable. But you're fine with that one. Got it. Who else? LeBron James. Oh, this is actually really cool. Sorry, I have a million tabs open and I don't know why because we're not going to talk about all this because we are almost done because I am losing my voice. LeBron James is going to start tonight wearing a special patch. I don't know what it looks like. Oh, it actually looks really cool. Because his first game was in Sacramento, and tonight they play in Sacramento. From here on out, every night he's going to wear this patch. This patch is going to be taken off and put into a 1-of-1 trading card that you will be able to chase.
Oh, I love that actually.
I do, but like it's a 1-of-1. You're not going to get it, and like
No,
the
no, no,
whales
no,
are
no.
going to buy like a million things. But I do like that concept. So I think there's going to be one for every game or every team, because I think they. Oh, there's going to be 46 more. So there's 46 cards total, and each one's going to be assigned to a specific game. I actually really like that. I will send it to you in the chat after we're done. It's actually really cool, or you can just Google it. Everyone else is going to have to Google it anyway. But it's like the silhouette. It says NBA seasons with a 23, and it's got, honestly, Cavs colors. And then it says 23, and it's got a silhouette of LeBron. It's really cool. Anthony Davis not getting traded because he's injured. Michael Porter Jr., most likely player to be traded. He's having a decent season, but I feel like we could have a decent season if we were playing for the Brooklyn Nets. But I don't like it's Michael. Like we've been talking about Trae Young and John Morant and Anthony Davis and LeBron James. What are we going to talk about with Michael Porter Jr.? Like he's a scorer. He might be a worse defender than Trae Young. He's just bigger. Last thing that I want to talk about, and then you can talk about whatever you want to talk about, and then we'll call it. So the Spurs, this happened a while ago, but we haven't recorded an episode in a while. When the Spurs beat the OKC Thunder in the NBA Cup semifinals, Wemby gave an interview where he said, "I'm just glad to be part of something that's growing to be so beautiful, pure and ethical basketball."
Repeat that. Sorry, I was coughing.
So after beating the Thunder in the NBA Cup semifinals,
Yep.
Wemby was asked during the press conference about it, and basically what he said is, "I'm just glad to be part of something that's growing to be so beautiful, pure, and ethical basketball." Keeping in mind that this was after they beat the Thunder.
Uh-huh.
Rewind to 2 nights ago. Lou Dort is finally getting called for stiff arming defenders, offensive fouls. Do you think that shade is warranted?
Yes.
Do you think the Thunder don't play ethical basketball? Because I don't.
I mean, I like the shade. I appreciate the shade. But at the same time, like, who was it? God. Puka Nakua. Who went on, during this football, but he went on either a podcast or a live stream. I forget which one it was. It was one of the two. I think it was a live stream where he threw shade at the NFL referees, saying they always want to grab attention with flags. So I am very pro, like, throw shade at people. Like, this is entertainment. This is a sport. Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot, kid.
No,
What?
you're talking about Victor Wembanyama.
Shoot your shot, kid.
What do you want to talk about before we wrap up? Anything? Because I am
I think
losing my voice.
let's just stop it then. We don't got time for another rant / diatribe. So let's all
Yeah,
get
no.
no. Yeah.
So go ahead and do your outro. You started it, you end it.
My outro. Okay. You know what? Instead of like the thank you everyone, you know what? I'm gonna do a different outro. It's been a long journey here, from where we started to where we went. I've had to deal with this fuck for. Granted, he took a hiatus, but I've had to deal with this fuck for the better part of 3-4 years. Parts of it have been miserable. Parts of it have been fun. I just appreciate the opportunity to be myself and do the things as far as subscribing, as far as liking, commenting, doing all that stuff. You be consumers. You are mostly American. Well, actually, maybe not. Alex is from Europe and he does garner a heavy European crowd.
This glows in the dark.
You glow in the dark.
Sorry, you started talking again, so I blacked out and I was eating a Kinder Egg and then playing with the toy
So,
that came in.
anyway, subscribe for more Ren blacking out while I go on diatribes. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Bye.